You're listening to Last Word Radio, where you get the last word.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Podcast, part of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported. With you today is myself, Carl, and Stevie Nick.
Thank you for having me on today, Carl.
Glad to have you. Glad you can be here.
You could have very easily just said, you know what, Nick, get out of here. I'm on to the next host. We've been through 4 of you.
At this point in time, I know a number of a guy.
We're late because of me. I'm recording on my phone because of me. But I'm flustered, Carl.
What's got you so flustered?
It's been a week, but you know what? It's been a week, and what a week it's been. There was a lot of hockey on, and I watched a lot of hockey. But it's been a day.
Yeah, it has been a day. It was a great week, though. I don't know about you, but this qualifying, I mean, I was probably more skeptical than the average person about this whole reboot, but they nailed it.
They killed it. Honestly, and it's so effective because of how long we were off for. Everyone was craving hockey so badly, and then they're like, fine, you want hockey? Here's 12 hours of hockey a day.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, you can watch the games you want to watch.
There's been a lot of talk about this. Are you of the opinion that they should do this every year, the play-in round?
No.
I don't think so either.
It's great for this year, but it'll water down and make for like 24 teams shouldn't qualify for the playoffs every year.
Totally agree. But for where we are in the world, it works.
Absolutely. It works just fine. And it was a lot of fun. So, no, I don't think it should be. I mean, I saw different versions of it. Maybe if it was like, no, I don't like any of them. I don't like any of them because I don't like a 1-game playoff. I don't really like a 3-game playoff. And I don't want a random 8 to 9 or 8 and 9 play 1 game. That's dumb. It shouldn't come down to 1 game.
But I agree. But now that there's going to be 32 teams in the league, should they expand the playoffs a little more?
I'm fine with half the league making the playoffs. I think that's enough, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, when you put it that way, it's a lot of teams. Especially when you think about baseball, where it's like nobody makes the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they expanded this year to half the league. So They were like, we'll be generous and give you half this year. Because, I mean, we're playing baseball in a pandemic and half the league has COVID anyways. So
yeah, exactly. So let me break this down for you, okay? Listeners, for what happened to me today. Because I don't live in the place where my office is. So I had to travel to the office today. So I was up very early after a hockey game last night. The Maple Leafs, they lost, in case you haven't heard. And the first thing I woke up to this morning when I was on the road, well, I didn't see it on the road, but I heard that Bob McKenzie retired. Posted his retirement.
Yeah, he's like semi-retired. He's not going to be there all the time.
Kind of. The statement was a little confusing.
It was like, I'm retired, but I'll be doing Leafs games. I'll be doing trade deadline and free agency. And I'm like, Bob, I don't watch many. It sounds like you're going to be in my life the exact same amount.
He's just not going to be chasing leads or texting GMs, but he's going to be on all the shows. He's still contractually obligated to be on all these shows.
Yeah. He has he signed a 5-year contract. He announced his retirement. He's like, but I still got 5 more years.
Oh, that's funny. So I woke up to that. Bob McKenzie, Canada's hockey king.
He's been, because he said part of 5 decades he's been doing it.
Yeah, he's been at it for a long time.
As long as most people have been watching hockey, Bob McKenzie's been a big part of how they got their news. So
he's the king, man. A lot of people, even me, I'm like, is it real until Bob McKenzie tweets it?
Yeah. And you can trust that if he tweets it, it's going to be...
It's legit.
Yeah.
100%. So already it's early morning. I'm flustered. And then I hear the Florida Panthers and Dale Tallon mutually decide to part ways.
Yeah, what was the wording that I saw? Not renewing his contract. So it looks like his deal was up, and now Florida, after bowing out to the Islanders real quick, they're looking for a new GM.
Oh my goodness! I wonder who they're going to bring in. Do you think it was time though for Dale?
I think so. I think there's been so many issues down in Florida and mistakes that have been made and lack of success. This was the year, right? You brought in Bobrovsky. You got your big fish and you failed.
They need focus. They need to focus on, they need like one goal that everybody's working towards, and that has to come from the top. And Dale Tallon kind of seemed like he was all over the place.
It's true. Yeah.
Right? Goaltending, forwards, defensemen, let's go everywhere.
Coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense from the Panthers that they want to, and I have no idea what they're going to do. However, I think this move will show if it, you said it needs to come from the top. We'll see how far up the issues come when they name this general manager. So
true. I mean, John Chayka's on the market, I think.
Maybe. Who even knows what he's doing?
Right. No announcement from Buffalo yet, so
he might be taking Taylor Hall to dinner every night. Who even knows?
So Dale Tallon, Florida Panthers done. My fluster level, Carl, it's rising.
Literally everyone is getting removed from their roles. Bob McKenzie's leaving. Dale Tallon. Is that where it ends?
And Nick's going into the office for the first time in 6 months. Like, how do you think I'm feeling? I'm sweating buckets. No, my day was fine. I went to work.
And it was a good normal day.
It was a good normal day. It's just I got back to my hotel room and I realized I forgot my laptop there. So hence the recording from the phone. But before I got back to my hotel room, you know what added to my fluster level, Carl?
I don't.
Well, it happened around 6 p.m. Eastern. Actually, check that. It was much later than 6 p.m. Eastern.
The good news was that I realized at I'm Mountain Time, so it was about 4:10 Mountain Time. I realized, that's out now.
Me too.
And I missed nothing.
Me too. I will tell you after the show, because I don't think it's appropriate for recording, where I watched that from.
Okay.
And so today was the NHL draft lottery. But before we announce who it is, should we get the show started officially?
Sure. Let's officially get the show started then, Nick. So
okay.
We're gonna get to the draft lottery. We're gonna get to previewing the first round, reviewing the qualifying round. We are gonna wrap up the high sticking from the first round. We're gonna announce the winner, draw a random winner of that. Before we get to any of that, Nick, ATB, the fantastic bank that supports the Alberta Podcast Network and this show, are starting a new initiative, which is super cool. So this is called ATB Goodness Grows. So if you go use the hashtag ATB Goodness Grows on anything, this is an initiative that motivates Albertans to bring joyful moments to others. And right now, I mean, we're kind of all adjusting, right? You're talking about how your day has been a day, right? Your fluster level's been high. Everyone's fluster level's a little bit high, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're all getting used to that. So we are adjusting to these things and being disconnected from them, and making someone laugh or bringing a smile to their day is never more important than it is now, right? That's why we're doing the show, to help you have a smile on your face at the end of this fluster fest. So from live streams connecting business owners to new and fun ways to celebrate things like Father's Day, ATB hopes to inspire Albertans to keep the goodness growing. To find out more or to get involved, visit atb.com/COVID-19/community. That's atb.com/COVID-19/community for ATB Goodness Grows. And that's what we're going to do today, Nick. We're going to grow the goodness a little bit here on the show. Because, I mean, watching hockey, either by yourself or with someone, joining with this online community, especially the one that we've got here with the show, that's goodness.
It's amazingness.
It is good. So there we go, Nick. The draft lottery. Let's get into that. Let's start right there. Draft lottery happened today. The 8 teams, the 8 losers of the qualifying round had the consolation chance today.
Just like as the round went on and more teams lost, I got more and more mad at this format of draft lottery.
Yeah, same.
Right? Like Penguins, Oilers, the Leafs last night. Oh, so frustrating.
And you're looking and you're like, these teams all have equal odds. Like,
yeah.
The Rangers lose. And you're like, okay, like the Rangers were on the fringe of the playoffs. I kind of get it. They shouldn't have been there. All of a sudden, the Panthers lose. Okay, sure. Now you've got, the Penguins, like you said, right? So some of those teams definitely not as deserving as others. And we got the New York Rangers winning it today after last year winning a surprise second overall pick.
Just terrible. I mean, I have to say though, like the Rangers is not the worst case scenario. They probably ranked like, I don't know, third of the teams who actually deserved it in this lottery.
I would say that's possibly true. Who would you say was the most deserving of this?
Florida.
Yeah.
It'd be like Florida or Minnesota. That would be my 1 and 2.
I was gonna say I would say the Wild. I mean, like, sure, they've made some poor choices on their own part, but they haven't had high draft picks in quite some time.
No, they haven't.
And I mean,
yeah.
So I would have been fine with them. And like Nashville also hasn't had a high win in a long time, but like they're also not bad enough to be deserving of it.
Yeah, Nashville's had some success recently. They got to raise a banner the other year.
I mean, they might raise a banner this year. Who even knows? What is it? Are we still going to raise banners when there's no fans in the stands to kick off next season?
Probably.
Okay. Just a banner that no one ever gets to look at up there.
You know what I'm surprised by? I didn't notice on the West Coast, but in Toronto, they left all the Leafs banners up. Like all the jersey retirements and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Which I thought would have been like, if this is a kind of, unbiased playing environment, you should take all that stuff down.
True. I mean, the LA Kings covered over Taylor Swift's sold out concerts banner, so you can cover over whatever you want.
No, they don't. Come on.
Have you not seen that?
No.
Okay, we've got a lot to get to on the show, but Taylor Swift hung a banner. I'm looking up the exact details. Taylor Swift in Staples Center hung a banner because she had attendance? The most sold out shows.
Okay.
Well, it was considered a curse for the LA Kings, and so they cover it now for games.
What? Taylor Swift is a national treasure.
I mean, let's not go that far.
She is a West Coast treasure.
She is a Los Angeles treasure. Anyways, so it is gone. The Lakers do not cover it. The Clippers do cover it. The LA Spark do not cover it, but the Kings do. So
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, we got a lot of things to talk about. We could probably do a whole hour on this, but
I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of things, right? We make fun of the Nashville Predators for what they get to hang banners for. Taylor Swift hanging a banner next to the sports teams for most sold out performances. No, Taylor.
But don't they do that at Madison Square Garden too? Doesn't like Billy Joel have banners there for most sold out performances at Madison Square Garden?
Do they?
I'm pretty sure Madison Square Garden has that.
Okay, look, are we putting Taylor Swift and Billy Joel at the same level right now?
I mean, if they have the same amount of sold out performances on each coast.
Okay, so Billy Joel has a banner, and apparently Elton John also has a banner.
Elton John, that's right.
Wow. Well, there we go, Nick.
Anyways, hockey, right? What do you think? New York wins the first overall pick.
I mean, they're going Lafreniere. It's going to be great. They've now got him and Capo Caco is the other one that they've got from last year. You've got Panarin on that team. An addition, you've got Shesterkin coming in, probably the goaltender this year, probably Lundqvist on his way out. It could be great.
They're in a very good position right now.
When they sent that letter to fans and they were like, look, we're sorry. We're going to get better as quick as possible. This is as good as you can hope for.
This is better than you can hope for. This is way better than they could have envisioned when they wrote that letter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Like they were probably thinking 3 to 5 years. Who knows how prospects develop? Now you have the number 2 pick in 2019 and the number 1 pick in 2020. And Artemi Panarin.
Yeah. Ridiculous. I did enjoy, I don't know if you could, wherever you were listening at the undisclosed location earlier, I don't know if you had the sound on or not.
I did.
But I did enjoy when they were going through like the last time franchises did. They're like, the Winnipeg Jets have selected first overall twice, selecting Patrick Stefan. And I'm like, wait a second. That was good. I like that.
That's a never forget moment.
So there we go, draft lottery, and that'll be happening at the end of the season. The draft will. Your Wings picking 4th. This doesn't really impact.
Before we move on from this, do you think the first overall pick is going to be in play for trades this year?
No.
I don't either. It shouldn't be.
No. Well, like for a talent as good as he is supposed to be, and I know that every first overall pick is like, this guy's good, but like, this guy's good. Like he could be, he's not like Connor McDavid level talent, but he's more like an Austin Matthews level talent coming in, right?
Yeah, I know. I was just looking for any hope possible, Carl.
So you're thinking to move up to 1?
It's not going to happen. It's not. I've been thinking of multiple scenarios over the last few days. I was like, well, if like the Leafs or the Oilers or the Pens win, there might be some room to move that number 1 pick. But I think with a team like the Rangers, there's no way it happens. No way.
No, they've got the flexibility. They've got the young core. They don't really they don't need what you have to offer them.
All we have to offer is dead weight on the cap.
How do you feel about Jimmy Howard? All right. Let's get to this first round we've got coming up here. After having all these games, right? Some days, multiple days of 6 games, we're going to have a mere 4 games per day all the way through until everyone's played their first 4 games. Getting started on Tuesday, tomorrow night, Nick. And it's nice. It's nice that there's only 1 off day. Right? I didn't even want 1. I wanted to get started tonight. I wanted them to do the draft lottery, maybe at like the first intermission or whatever stupid time they pick of like the least popular games so that people tune in for it. But instead,
they had to really draw that out, though.
It's true. I mean, I stopped watching as soon as it was done. I watched it for about 5 minutes, long enough. Actually, I know we said we're done with it. I watched it long enough to watch the guy drop the Rangers ball prematurely, which, I mean, then the conspiracy theorists are all over the place. And then it to be drawn, and then I turned it off because...
I think it's hilarious. My brother texted me immediately after, and his text just said, NHL draft lottery, rigged or nah? Question mark. What do you think? Rigged or nah?
Nah.
Yeah, I think it's not too.
But they don't make it easy on themselves to make it look like it's not.
Who is that guy that dropped that ball in?
I don't know. I've never seen someone's life flash before their eyes.
I wish Gary Bettman's reaction was on camera.
Like, I don't know how much time you spend on it, but there's that subreddit, Watch People Die Inside. If that's not the top post on there, I'm going to, by the time this show's done, I'm going to go on there and upload it because we saw someone die inside.
You could get so much karma for that, Carl.
I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to get it. All right, Nick, the first round gets started tomorrow afternoon. We've got our first game, Columbus Blue Jackets and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't know if you remember, Nick, these 2 teams met in the playoffs last year.
Oh, man. This is why I'm so looking forward to this matchup. But both teams are different this year.
Very different teams. I mean, not very Columbus is very different. Tampa's mostly the same.
Yeah, but Tampa's got some injuries that the on-ice product's going to be different.
True, right? Because they've got Stamkos hurt. Victor Hedman is hurt.
Yep.
And so two big pieces from their team. Columbus obviously missing Bobrovsky, Panarin, Matt Duchene, who continues to not make the playoffs. None
of those players made the playoffs.
No, it's true. What do you think, though? Is Tampa going to do it this year, or are they going to get swept again?
I feel like when we did our season preview like a year ago, I said Tampa was going to win the Stanley Cup. I'm not so confident in that statement anymore. And after watching what the Blue Jackets did to the Maple Leafs, I'm not so confident that Tampa's going to beat them without their two best players.
Yes, Columbus did. I mean, and they did a great job of it last year, too. They do a fantastic job of being able to shut down and really slow down these teams that are high-powered, high-scoring, high offense. And I mean, Toronto, give them credit. They did a good job trying to match what Columbus did. I was actually really impressed for a lot of those games how well they did defensively. In spite of, I mean, like their forwards, like Austin Matthews defensively had an amazing series.
He did look amazing defensively. I agree.
The actual defense on the team, less so.
Well, this is the thing about Toronto, though, right? Like, the whole point is to outscore your opponents. Like, that's essentially what this team is. Like, let's go through their team. Travis Dermott was terrible. Justin Holl was terrible. Tyson Barrie, who should have been a good player this year and through these playoffs, was not very good. He was almost invisible through the whole thing. Morgan Riley was okay. Who else is on that team? Cody Ceci?
Ceci.
Oh, come on.
Jake Muzzin, the one who got hurt, was literally the only good defender.
Yeah. What a weird injury that was, too. It did not look that bad.
Right. We've seen people go into weirder, harder situations and walk off the ice, let alone get stretchered off. So,
yeah. So you know what? Like, we say that these forwards, Matthews, Tavares, he came back and played a great game defensively too, and they did, and you got to give them credit for that. But you can't expect a goalie like Frederik Andersen to bail you out of every game. Not behind that defense. The whole point is for you to give him a chance, and you need to outscore that opponent.
Right. You can't get shut out, is what you're telling me.
You cannot get shut out.
In an elimination game, you can't get shut out.
You can't. And you know what? We can blame Freddie Andersen for that second goal last night all we want. And that was a bad goal, and he should be blamed for it. But you know what? Where were the 4-star players and their scoring power? Why wasn't that a 5-2 game?
Yeah, there's no reason that goal should not have been the reason they lost.
No, it absolutely should not have.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So Tampa, you picked them. Do you still pick them? Not even just to win the Stanley Cup, to win this round.
Okay, here's what I want to do, okay? I want to tell you who I want to win and who I think is going to win.
All right.
I want Columbus to win because Nick Foligno deserves a Stanley Cup. I think Tampa Bay is going to win.
I legitimately think Tampa's going to win, but I think it's going to be a long series. I think Tampa learned. I mean, it took them 4 games last year, plus this season, plus watching what they did to Toronto now. You've got to think John Cooper was focusing up and looking at what he needed to do to get this team ready. And if they do not win this round, John Cooper should be fired.
I think I would agree with that. I think that their memory should be long enough that they should still be feeling some resentment and, frankly, some embarrassment about what happened to them last year in the first round.
Yeah.
And that should be enough to light a fire under them and get the skill going.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't the pre-postseason anymore, Tampa. You're not seeding. Make it happen.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Calgary Flames and the Dallas Stars, which to me feels like possibly our weirdest matchup of all of these postseason matchups. But Calgary got past Winnipeg. Dallas ended up with the 3 seed after beating St. Louis in a shootout. So they get Calgary. Or not the 3 seed. So I don't know. This is one where I do think Dallas is going to win. We saw, a lot of good play out of them throughout the regular season. Ben Bishop did have a bit of time off here, and we saw a lot of teams give their main goalies time off during this seeding. So I don't really put much stock into that situation.
When we previewed the qualifying round, I said, I don't know, I just got a feeling about Calgary that they're going to get run over in this round. And it was the complete opposite. They did the running over. They crushed Winnipeg. So I'm picking Calgary over Dallas. They've turned me into a believer.
I think the difference there's a lot of differences between Calgary or Winnipeg and Dallas. Winnipeg lost Scheifele early and they managed to win game 2 somehow, but really showed in the rest of the series that they had nothing, right? Like it was without him, they really fell apart. Dallas has not a super deep team, but they've got a good enough team that they can, even if they were to lose, if Matthew Tkachuk goes after Tyler Seguin, they can still manage to hold their own without him.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I don't know if I have anything else to say about that. I think they win on the goalie matchup.
Mm-hmm, definitely. I think they win on the forward matchup.
I think they win on the forward matchup too. Yeah. So it's going to come down to defense.
Yeah. Calgary's got some good defenders. Dallas does. I would say Dallas has the higher end defenders. Calgary a little deeper. So, all right. Next up, a rematch, Nick. Another rematch. Carolina Hurricanes, Boston Bruins.
Those Hurricanes were fun to watch in the qualifying round.
I mean, you're talking about a team that relies on fast offense. They're speedy.
They are speedy. They didn't give the Rangers much.
No.
So, but that being said, almost all of their offense came from one line.
It's true.
That Aho, Svechnikov line. So I don't know. The Boston Bruins are a deep team. They're an experienced team. They won the President's Trophy. This is going to be a tough matchup.
They also just lost 4 games in a row going into this. So
what was up with that?
They've got the coldest team. I mean, Bruce Cassidy coming into it was like, it's just the preseason. Brad Marchand on the Zoom this week also kind of doubled down on that. It was like, it was just the preseason. We didn't really care about it, which seems like the worst attitude to have, to just be able to internally turn that switch off. Be like, yeah, we'll just turn it back on when we want to.
Yeah, and I don't really know how true that is, how easy that is to do. Probably not that easy, but
when you haven't had that switch on since March, it seems pretty hard to just be like, now we'll try to win.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. To me, it's not like a switch that you just flick and it's on. It's like that was the whole point of these 4 games.
Yeah, was
to turn that knob to the on position. It's not a switch. It's more of you got to crank the knob.
Yeah, make it go to 11. Now, now you're stuck at 0-4.
Exactly. And the Canes are hungry and they're fast and they got momentum.
And they won against the Rangers without some of their defensive pieces, which they might get back this series, right? Dougie Hamilton might be back. Who's the other one? Brett Pesce? He's out. He might come back. So, you can add those pieces to this. Could be good.
And they're the only team that I've seen that has their families behind them. I don't know if you saw on social media, they released a video where all their families sent them video messages and they all watched them from the conference room together. And they were all kind of in tears and misty eyed because it was so sweet.
That is nice. Jake Muzzin's wife and daughter had a sign for him outside the arena. So,
that's kind of cute. Too bad they lost.
Now he gets to be with his wife and daughter sooner, though. So really, we did him a favor.
That's true.
It is interesting. I mean, I don't know if you saw today, the NBA announced that they're doing a different situation. They're doing like 8 regular season games to finish it up. But they said as soon as a team, after I believe Tuesday's games, as soon as a team is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, they're kicked out. So they don't even get to finish their season. And they said you get to go to your rooms, take a shower, a meal, and get on a bus and get out. They're like, get out of our bubble. We do not want you anymore.
Like, how nice of you to let me go take a shower.
Right? Yeah.
And you have 10 minutes, and then we turn the water off.
Yeah. Look, you're on one hot water tank. It's a team shower. Go. So, I mean, NHL's doing the same thing, right? You're out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, why would you be there? Why would you want to stay? Like, go home and spend time with your families.
I mean, NHL players are making it sound great, right? They're playing golf simulator and cards and
it's true.
Sitting by the pool all day.
There's one player who said, and I don't think his name was released, it was in an article I read, and I quote, he said, "I've never felt more safe before."
I mean, it's true. You go nowhere.
It's pretty good praise for the NHL's bubble system.
Yeah, it is. I mean, still no cases, so that's
still
great.
No cases.
All right. And then the last game, the late game, Tuesday night, is the Chicago Blackhawks and the Vegas Golden Knights. And the part of this that I love, I mean, Chicago had no visions of making the playoffs, so they were sellers at the trade deadline, and they will be facing former Chicago Blackhawk Robin Lehner in net for the other team.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting series because I really do feel like the Blackhawks have far more potential to upset than, the 12th seed in the other conference. But I also have a tendency to undersell the Golden Knights. I never really think that they're that good. That I really think that they rely so much on heart and character and grit. But then you look at their roster, and it's changed a lot over the last 2 years. And on paper, they're a good team.
Yeah, they have built quite the roster.
It really should be a no contest. Like, they should dispose of the Blackhawks and be on their way.
Right. I mean, you saw them in this tournament. They won all 4 games in the seeding, beating my Avalanche in a shootout. Overtime. In overtime with like 10 seconds left to get this done. They're very good. And like you said, like, they're getting Max Pacioretty back as well, so they're going to be better than they were. He's quarantined. He's entered the bubble. And now you've got him to add to this roster, a roster that was already very good.
Yeah, they should win this one pretty easily, but these Blackhawks are pesky.
Well, in that last series then, do you think this was more of the Oilers being bad, or we obviously Mike Smith in game 1, that was on the Oilers, but the rest of the series, was the Oilers being bad or the Blackhawks being good?
I mean, it's hard for me to say because I didn't watch all the games because they were very, very late for us on the East Coast. I think it's probably a bit of a combination of both, because you look at who the Blackhawks have brought in, and they've got some pretty good talent in like Alex DeBrincat, like 2nd round pick who's turned into like basically a top 6 player. Yeah. They've brought in, and then there's that other guy who had 5 points on one game. His name is slipping my mind right now. Yeah. So they've done pretty well for themselves. But I think the Oilers are in their own heads a little bit. I think there's a lot of pressure on them to win. I think they get down on themselves and they can't get back. Very, very similar to the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I agree with you on that part. The Blackhawks played well. Like, it wasn't that the Oilers gave them that series, though. So it is, I'm with you. This is not going to be a cakewalk for the Knights. However, Robin Lehner being there, you get to do that advanced scouting with him there, right? Literally, like, these guys have shot on me at practice. I've seen what they can do. I know what their strengths and their weaknesses are. He's been the duo with Corey Crawford and been in the goalie meetings. He knows what his strengths and weaknesses are. It's going to be helpful for them.
Yeah, totally agree.
So I'm picking Vegas. I would say if any matchup were to be a sweep, this is probably my second most likely one.
So you think Vegas is going to win? Do you want Vegas to win?
Yeah, probably. Because I mean, I don't want this 12 seed to go on a heater, and then this playoffs look like a giant joke.
Fair enough. We didn't do this on the last series. Boston, Carolina. Who do you want to win? Who do you think will win?
I want Carolina to win. I think Boston will win.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat. All right, next.
All right, this brings us to Wednesday, and this game gets fired up as well. Every day looks like it's getting started at 3 o'clock Eastern time. The games, actually most days, except for on Friday, we have 5 games, but the first 3 days, it's 3 o'clock, 5:30, 7 o'clock, and 10:30 Eastern time for game starts. Wednesday gets started with another rematch, a little feisty deal here. Barry Trotz and the Islanders going against the Capitals.
This is another one that seems like an obvious choice, but the Islanders continue to surprise with how they play. So I don't know who to pick on this one. I don't know who I think is going to win. I don't know. It should be the Caps.
I think the Caps are going to win. And I want the Caps to win. It's close though. I like what the Islanders have managed to do. I like that they have Andrew Ladd on their team. I like that he's in the bubble but not playing. I like all those things. But the Caps were the team when I had nothing. So,
of course, I forgot about that. Of course.
Actually,
well, go ahead.
I was going through my hat collection and rediscovered my Washington Capitals hat that one of our listeners gave us. I was like, oh yeah, huh. Thanks, Chad.
Yeah, remember when that was a thing? I think the Washington Capitals are going to win, but whenever I think about the New York Islanders now, I think about how our friend Matt from Reasons Are has pointed out that we always undersell on them. So I want the Islanders to win for Matt, but I think the Capitals are going to win.
I mean, he'll be thrilled that in your heart you want them to win.
I know, man. I'm going for those brownie points. Don't tell him.
Okay. I mean, maybe he'll skip this part. I assume he just listens to the entire show and then skips the part where we talk about his team. So it's fine.
He's like, oh, Caps Islanders, skip ahead 15 seconds.
I know they're just going to crap all over my team. Don't need to listen to that. Islanders have done great, but the Caps, I mean, they've just got that firepower that I'm not sure the Islanders can hold down.
Yeah, it's a tough challenge. It's definitely tougher than the Panthers.
Yep. All right, Nick, which brings us to one that you don't have to ask the question for of how I feel, the Arizona Coyotes and the Colorado Avalanche. This Avalanche team, Nick.
So who do you want to win? And who do you think will win?
I want the Avalanche to win, and I think the Avalanche are going to do it.
I mean, they should. If they don't, it would be pretty bad.
Yeah, they showed that they can win in multiple ways in the seeding round. They can win last second, 0.1 second left. Nazem Kadri, who did more in that goal than Tyson Barrie did the entire season.
Man, that was awesome. Did that happen after we recorded last time?
Yes.
It's been a long week. That goal was so good.
Can we camp on this for a second? I don't know if you recall, Nick, trade deadline day. I think we started the show with me being in a mood about that trade.
Yeah, you weren't happy about it. You were in a mood. I remember that.
I was in a big mood, yeah. And all season, whenever Nazem Kadri does something, I've been getting Leafs fans on me of like, where's your Naz hate now? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, I will openly admit that I was wrong. And I could not be happier that I was wrong. In no way. I mean,
how long of a memory people have.
Right? But, I mean, with how Tyson Barrie was with his contract negotiations, I put that aside and forgot about it as an Avalanche fan. And now that he's trash for the Leafs, you can go and get whatever $4 million a year Jake Gardner deal you think you're going to go get now, because it's not going to be good, Tyson. You messed it up. We got the better end of the deal. Whoops.
You totally did. But you know what's going to happen? He's going to sign like a $4 million per year contract with a team, and he's going to be awesome.
For $4 million, yeah, there's the bar is much lower.
He's just not what the Leafs needed. They didn't need a puck rushing defenseman, and that was not the game that they had him playing. Like, that's where he excels.
Exactly. Yeah. We got
like they need a stay-at-home defensive defenseman. Why aren't you going to get that? I don't understand.
I don't either. But hey, we replaced him with Cale Makar, and it's doing all right for us. That said, give me
big casual drop there.
give me. So if the Avalanche lose, how do the Coyotes do it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how you start to pick apart a team like the Avalanche. You'd have to have really, really strong coaching.
Is Rick Tocchet that kind of a coach?
No.
Okay.
This to me is the only clear sweep in the first round.
Really? I'm not that confident. More than the Habs?
I keep forgetting about the Habs. They're playing the Flyers?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the West Coast sweep.
Okay, this is the West Coast sweep. You got a West Coast and East Coast sweep. I like that. Darcy Kemper was amazing in the first round, but also had, like, he was not a brick wall every game. He showed that he is human, but man, there were some times where he was the reason that team could win. He needs to do that again, and they need to rely on their guys to score.
I didn't watch many of those games because they were always the backup game on Sportsnet, but every time they like dropped into the game, the Coyotes were being outshot like 10-1.
Yeah.
So he must have been playing a great game, and then, you know, they were finding ways to get pucks into the net, which is what you need for a team like the Coyotes.
Absolutely.
How sustainable is that 3 round of the playoffs?
I don't think so, especially when it becomes a longer series, right? The randomness starts to disappear in a 7-game series versus
yeah.
All right, next up, the series Montreal, and the team Nick repeatedly forgets exists in the playoffs. The Philadelphia Flyers and the Montreal Canadiens. This is the sweep series.
Yeah, this is the East Coast sweep.
Because Carey Price, as bad as he has been at times the last few seasons, he had one heck of a series.
He had a great series. And we talked about last week how they always, like, they beat the Penguins, but it always looked how hard, like, they were playing so hard. And how sustainable is that?
Yeah. I mean,
the Flyers are going to be harder.
The Flyers are going to be harder because Carey Price is no longer the best goalie in this series.
Yeah.
Like, you now have Carter Hart on the other end, who does not look like, a 21-year-old in his first full year in the league.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
He looks great. They have amazing depth down their forward core.
Yeah. And defensively, it's good defense.
They've got pretty good D. They've got it all there.
I would say forward, defense, and goal, they beat Montreal in all 3 areas.
Yeah, totally. But so did Pittsburgh.
It's true, right?
Maybe not in goal, but
I wouldn't in goal, especially when you're playing Matt Murray, not in goal, but definitely. I mean, I don't think Montreal can do it for 7 games. This would be my East sweep. My West sweep would be Vegas.
Over Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you want to win? Who do you think will win?
I want Philadelphia to win, and I think Philadelphia will win.
I'm in the same boat. The last series that gets started up, the Vancouver Canucks and the St. Louis Blues. Another one that feels like a bit of a weird matchup. And I guess these are matchups in a normal situation that, unless one's a wild card team, would not be happening.
That's right.
In the first round of the playoffs. So
cross division, right?
Yeah, cross division. So we've got Vancouver and St. Louis. Vancouver, I mean, they played well enough against the Wild. In game 4, they were down, managed to come back, won it in overtime. Jacob Markstrom continued his regular season performance. And a lot of those offensive pieces for the Canucks really, I thought weren't as good as I was expecting them to be.
In Vancouver?
In Vancouver. Maybe I was just expecting too much like Elias Pettersson amazingness, and it was just
and Chris Tanev scored the overtime winning goal.
Right, like 10 seconds into the game.
Yeah, I think the Wild gave them more of a run for their money than anybody thought that they would. On the other side of that coin, I've also seen a lot of people saying the Canucks are here, the rebuild is over, this is them, and I don't think that's the case either. I think it probably falls somewhere in the middle. Are they going to beat the Blues? No. But what we just saw in the qualifying round was encouraging.
For sure. Yeah.
So
I don't think that this is their final version they've got, which is great for the Canucks because they've got room to improve. They've got areas and pieces and players that they can take off, right? That bottom 6 for this team, not good. They can trim a lot of salary out of that and replace them with some cheaper, as good players and spend in other areas. So
I think that the box they tick right now is that they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
Check. Now, but focus on making runs and going deep.
Yeah. I think they can do that. Again, against the St. Louis Blues, maybe not. If I'm going think and want, I think the St. Louis Blues can do it. Now, granted, they did what Boston did, and someone had to finish 4th in the seeding round. St. Louis was that, and so they get to face the Canucks, which St. Louis won the Stanley Cup last year, and are essentially bringing back the same team.
And they were the top Western Conference team at the end of the regular season, were they not?
Yeah. So both of the 1 seeds dropped to the 4.
Give much weight to that, though.
A 4-game sample size, not really.
Right, and even like the qualifying rounds, like people are talking about blowing up the Maple Leafs and making but they played 5 games after being off for longer than an off season. Like I don't know if I'd go about making drastic changes to all these teams who didn't move forward in the playoffs.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, I would make
such a weird time.
I would do some changes to the Leafs, but the rest of the teams, right? Like
we all would though.
Right. Like the Oilers, right? They missed out. What kind of you're not making big drastic changes to them, right? Like no one's talking to thankfully the Leafs also lost, so we're missing out on the is McDavid the problem think pieces, because thank goodness we don't have to listen to those. Instead, it's which Leaf, or ranking the bad ones. Anyways, same thing. Penguins. We don't see those think pieces about them. It's they lost to Montreal. They shouldn't have, and they did.
Yeah.
So I think St. Louis. I want St. Louis. I really don't care about who wins this series.
If I really have to pick one, if I want who I want, I'd say Vancouver just because they're the Canadian team.
I don't
There's
like
no in that.
I mean, there is a long-standing reason why I don't like the Vancouver Canucks. Going back to the old Todd Bertuzzi thing.
Right, of course.
But St. Louis Blues are in the Central Division. So I've got those 2 reasons. So it's not who do I want, it's who do I hate the least.
Yeah, fair enough. Is that our last series?
That's it. 8 series, Nick.
Then I would just like to say, because I feel like I feel like you're not at the same flustered level that I am at. So
Jeez, I'm concerned on how you're going to fluster me up here.
I do want to say that I think the Avs have a real shot to go deep this year. I think they could do it.
Okay, so define deep.
I think they could be playing in the Stanley Cup final.
Okay, if they are playing in the Stanley Cup final, I had this thought this week. I mean, last time they were in the Stanley Cup final, I was 12 years old. Quick math is hard right now. Like as an adult,
Yeah, are you flustered?
As an adult, I do not know how I will be able to compose myself, because normally it would be June and I would be busy at work, like with a lot of busyness at work. I mean, here they give me some time to like get settled back into my work routines and all that. And then I have to really try to focus on all the things while holding it together emotionally outside of it. So from that side, yeah, I don't know what to do. I was thinking about it this week. Like I was thinking back because my wife was telling me, she's like, I really enjoyed like for the stress level of you when there was no sports, it was more predictable. Right? Because you don't have a game that goes poorly, right? It's like, well, every other day now it's that roller coaster of like, it's either great or down. And which maybe speaks to the level of investment that myself and probably several of our listeners have in sports. And so, yeah, to have that and to think, I was thinking back to the Blue Jays run, right? When they went deep in the playoffs and just the wreck that left me, and thinking of talking with people and like playoff overtime is great until your team's playing in it and you hate everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm not looking forward to that. I really just want them to make this first round easy against the Coyotes so that I can have some confidence moving forward. If this series goes 7, I'm not going to be excited about a deep run. If they can do the sweep like you predict, Nick. I mean, they beat the Flames in 5 last year. Sharks, they took the Sharks to 7 games. And I mean, that Sharks series was gravy for me. I didn't expect them to beat the Flames. So, this is, if they can make the conference finals, which I know a lot of people are predicting a Vegas, Colorado conference final, that's a tough series to get past.
It's a tough series to get past. I don't think the Coyotes are going to take them to 7, though. I don't think you have anything to worry about there.
Yeah, I would hope. I hope so. I hope you're right, Nick.
So when is the first game of the series?
Wednesday, and that's I believe that's the 3:30 Mountain, so 5:30 Eastern time game. So right when you finish the work day off, you can cook some dinner, grill some steaks, some burgers, some ribs, whatever you're feeling, and watch the Avalanche.
Well, I'll definitely be watching them now. I didn't watch a single round robin game.
I mean, they were, especially the first ones were terrible. Like it was not good hockey. That first round robin game was an exhibition game. That counted. But they got better at the end, especially when they was like, all right, you win this game and it determines your seed. Teams started to care. So it was fun. Very excited for this round where we are going to, again, have games spread out all day. A little less of a concern for the arena staff. I know there was, I forget what game it was that went to overtime and they had to bump back some of the other games. So a little more spread out. We don't have to worry about some deep OT games wrecking the schedule for us. 2 games per day mostly in these arenas, and it's going to be fun, Nick.
It's going to be a fun playoffs. Lots more hockey to come.
So talking about, we've been talking about, winning and all these things. Do you want to know who won our high sticking challenge?
Yes.
Okay. So we brought it back. It and took on a new life. If you did not play, this is your chance because the score's reset now. We're back at zeros. The way it works is every game you pick one player who you think is going to score the game winner. If that team wins, you get 1 point. If that player scores the game winner, you get 2 bonus points. If you pick a goalie and they get a shutout, you get 3 bonus points. No one successfully picked a goaltender in the first round.
I saw a couple guesses, though.
I did. It was nice. It was fun. I know Joe picked a couple. But, Nick, what we're going to do is we're going to hand out prize for first place in every round, and we're going to draw a winner. And I picked up a little extra. So we've got our Fourth Line merch that we've got going out.
Yep.
You get to pick a puck or a coaster. Otherwise, you also get, alongside that, a pack of old hockey cards, unopened. So you get to open that up, crack it open, and see who you get. So we'll be sending one of those to each winner as well. It's always fun to open a pack of hockey cards.
Those look sweet too. They have all the old branding on them.
Yeah, I mean they're from the 1991-1992 season. Saw those and picked those up. So actually, if you think back to last summer when we did the hockey collector history episode, turns out that antique store is still selling the exact same hockey cards from last year. So it is the same sets that we had last year. And I thought, why not just pick up a bunch of them this year and send them out as prizes? So that's what we did.
Great.
So we've got those. So what we need to announce the winner, which is Matt, the aforementioned host of Reasons Are Debatable. He won first overall, and it came down to the final game. A bold pick for him. It was tied, a 3-way tie going into the final game, and he picked Zach Werenski, who might not have even played in the game. He picked him to score the game-winning goal and came out successful.
Oh, man. There you go. Pays off. The big, bold, risky takes pay off.
Exactly. I know Brody, who was in second place, was very disappointed. He was like, the Leafs can't score one goal so that we tie. No, Brody, they cannot.
Take it up with Kyle Dubas, bud.
So, Matt, congratulations. You can send us a thing. We also now are going to randomly draw a number from a hat. For the rest, we have, what is it? How many points do we have here? 188 points. So I need to pick a random number from 1 to 188. What, if you had to guess, Nick, what number do you think it's going to be?
Was this like NHL Draft Lottery Part 2?
Yeah. Let's see how rigged this is. You get to
19.
19. The number is 46, which means the winner is Kristen Meyer. Congratulations. She was in third. She was one of those teams tied going into that last game. So she comes away. Brody, unfortunately, comes away as the only one of those three. But hey, that's great news because we have another round coming up. Send us a DM. Let us know if you want a puck or a coaster and then we'll send you that and a pack of cards, and we'll get that out to you as soon as possible. Nick, get started tomorrow afternoon.
Can't wait, man. The first game's going to be on as I'm driving home.
I was going to say, are you going to get that in on the radio in the car? Yeah,
through the NHL app. I just play it through there.
Oh, okay. You're one of those that is liberal with their data.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I was streaming Leafs games and Canucks games from the campfire this week, so I feel that.
But only specific things. I wouldn't do video. I'll just do the radio feed.
Oh, I did video. I've got 10 gig, Nick. I can burn through a couple.
Oh, it's no problem.
Nothing. No big deal. For a couple hockey games, we'll just take it off the intern's paycheck this year.
Worth it. You know what? That intern deserves it.
I saw some of the stuff they did with the high sticking scores. It was bad. So, all right. So that gets fired up Tuesday. On Tuesday morning, we'll send out the tweet letting you know about high sticking, let you know the games. To give you the reminder, you pick one player per game, and we could be saying your name on the show as the winner next week. Congratulations to Matt and Kristen as well. For next week, we'll be back. You can find us at thefourthlinepodcast.com. You can find the show wherever you find podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Google, anywhere you listen, we are there. I saw Amazon's doing podcasting. That's one on my list of things to do this week is to find out how to get us on Amazon podcasts. So
heck yeah, we got to get on there. Amazon Prime. We'll deliver you to your ears next day.
Yeah, next day delivery. I mean, even faster than that, Nick. This will be delivered tonight. Before you're even in bed.
Better than Fourth Line Podcast. Faster than Amazon.
Faster than Amazon. Man, we're great. We'll be there. One thing I wanted to let you know about, Nick, actually, do you remember? So this year, I mean, talk about being flustered. There's been so much going on this year, right? A lot has been going on this year. Can you think back to what the big news story was in December, January?
Oh, December, January? No.
And maybe this is more relevant to me because I have friends who had family that were affected by this. But do you remember the Australian wildfires?
Yeah. Yes, I do actually.
Yeah. So that was a thing that happened this calendar year.
That was in 2020?
That was in 2020, yeah. those big wildfires in Australia. If you think about that, I know that like California always has wildfires that are a big problem. Fort McMurray here in Alberta had them a couple of years ago. Wildfires are a big thing. This episode is brought to you by World on Fire, which is a new podcast out of CBC Edmonton. And it's a 5-part series that takes you to the front lines of out-of-control wildfires in Canada, Australia, and California. They recorded this. Like, this is fresh news. This is recorded during the pandemic by hosts Adrian Lamb and Mike Flanagan. And they look at what it takes to find hope in the midst of fear and destruction and how communities affected by wildfires rebuild. The series examines the high cost the wildfires cause to people's health, homes, and communities. You can find this on the CBC Listen app or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also go to cbc.ca/worldonfire to find this show. And I think in a time where we're all looking for hope to maybe be a little bit less flustered, a show like this that talks about how they find hope in the midst of such terrible situations like wildfires is an important thing to check out. And we'll be back next week again. Enjoy the week of hockey. We'll be on the socials. You can talk to us on there, and we will gladly tell you what level of terror I am about the Avalanche at any given moment.
Is that it?
That's it.
Time for us to wrap up another Fourth Line show. I know what you're thinking. You don't want us to go. The Leafs and their fans find the concept of trust hard. In case you can't tell, tonight Nick is really flustered.